Well, Sensei, this is going to be an interesting one. We're going to do a no-gi Uki-Goshi. Uki-Goshi, it's like, people ask me about it. Does it work? It's like, kinda, right? And you classically see like the old Mifune videos where the guy goes here, and it's a half hip, and then they twist really hard, and then they spin around. It's like, how does that work mechanically, right? Oh, I can defend that no problem. So it's kind of a misunderstood technique, but with the context of no-gi and the body lock from Greco, you could actually hit this really nicely. So that's what we're going to show today. But before you do, there's lots of links down below on the YouTube, so please check those things out to support the channel. Go to Sensei Glick's channel. He's a jiu-jitsu expert, so he teaches a lot of BJJ, so go check that out. And we're going to do a Bridging the Gap DVD series. So that's going to be coming up. Part 1 is going to be up very, very soon. It's going to be Tomoenage Sumigaeshi, X, Y, and Z, lots of different stuff. Please go check that out. Okay, so Sensei Glick coming out forward. I'm going to change my level here. Okay, very important that I change my level using my knees. And I'm going to bring my body down and lock his arms to his hips. Okay, that's really the first and foremost. It's really no different than a body lock. But it's very important that I keep this arm trapped. I bring my elbows in and I sort of do a palm to palm or a wrist to wrist grip, depending on how long your arm is and how rotund your partner is, right? If they're wider, it might not, and then if they're really wide, you can't connect your hand, you can't do this technique, right? But usually like grappling sports is a weight class sport, so generally you're going to be able to. Okay, so we're going to change our levels and we're going to thread this arm through, and I'm going to lift my opponent up off the ground here first, okay? I'm going to lift my opponent, and then I'm going to do a half turn, and then wheel him over my hip, okay? It seems kind of complicated, but you can use your legs, right? And then lift, and then spin. What you're trying to watch out for is putting your opponent on your shoulder, which I will not do. And then what you're also watching out for is clearing this leg pulsing on the floor, okay? Those are 2 important points. You have to lift with enough force to create a little bit of separation so you could turn your hip and then bump it so that you do a turn. And classically, without going deep into sort of the lifting, throwing portion of it, you see this kind of thing a lot where you're blocking the rear hip and then taking the opponent over the shoulder. And you know, I kind of think that's Uki-Goshi as well, right? It's kind of a variation. It's very Greco-Roman, Mongolian style, right? Let's look at that from the other angle, right? You change levels, you block, and then you lock this hip, and now you could rotate him, as you can see, right, back into this opposite hip and taking him over, okay? So the Uki-Goshi version, not going to be too crazy, Sensei. Trust me, Sensei. Okay. I'm going to go lift, I'm going to turn my hip in, and then rotate him over that hip. It almost looks like a Front Uchimata wheel, right? Boom, lift, and then rotating, I just put you down. That's a great way to drill this technique. Okay. Changing levels, body lock, elevating. Okay. This angle. Okay, nice and easy throwing that hip across. Simple Uki-Goshi. That wasn't too bad, right?
That's not bad.
Were you worried when I was like?
A little bit.
I'm going to lock your arms, pick you up, and throw you over my hip.
That's a little worried.
Yeah. So you can kind of do this slowly, nice and easy, right? Definitely want to make it a progression system. But starting off, I highly recommend, if you're trying to do a lot of no-gi stuff, you have to have some semblance of control in the upper body. And a lot of that comes from this sort of Greco-Roman style body lock situation, right? Working this back leg hip, bringing this hip forward, right? And then you're attacking that back hip with a half hip, which is Uki-Goshi. Never before seen, brand new judo. No Uki-Goshi. Saw it here first.